Hello everyone and welcome to Dynamite Cosplay. Today we're talking about one of my favourite characters, Harley Quinn. Now, why do I love Harley? I mean, 1, she is a badass. 2, she is crazy intelligent, as well as just crazy. And 3, she's funny. I think she has a really good sense of humour, and also she has a really good heart. The version of Harley that I love anyway. Because let's be real, there are so many different versions. My first kind of interactions with Harley were like the comics based on the cartoon, so it's the same kind of style. A lot of them are the same stories, so like Mad Love and things like that. And yeah, she's so clever, like how the Joker is constantly struggling to defeat Batman, and just Harley does it in one. And obviously the Joker is furious because he just can't take it. He has to be the one. It's not about destroying Batman, it's about him proving some, I don't know, male bravado or whatever. And in that version I kind of feel sorry for her as well, because she just doesn't see that she's better than him. Like, in every way, she's better, and it's so unhealthy. And I love, like, the interactions of her and Ivy, and that's kind of where my love of those two together kicked off. Whether they're friends or lovers, I love it either way. I just feel like they have such good chemistry, but I do get extra excited when they are together romantically as well. Spoiler alert! Probably a lot of spoilers in this, I'm sorry. Probably should have said that at the beginning. I will try and be as vague as possible. I don't want to give away like exact plots, but definitely give some recommended reading if you do like the character. It's interesting because probably after the kind of animated series, and I did go back and watch it after, because obviously I got into the comics, and I don't know why, I don't know when it originally came out, but it just seems to have missed me. Even though it seems like something I would be really into. I know we watched like the Batman of the Future TV series. Is it Terry? Again, I was so young I vaguely remember it, but I remember enjoying it. It was Batman Beyond, wasn't it? But anyway, yeah, the original Batman animated series, I watched it as an adult, and it's so good. Like, and that's me watching it for the first time, so it's not like it's tainted by nostalgia. Genuinely, I sat there as an adult and watched it and went, yeah, this is a good series. I'm not even sure it's suitable for kids, some of the stuff, but I'm sure it's done in a cartoony way. I think when you're kids, you don't realise. Sometimes you watch something that you watched as a kid and you watch it as an adult and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe we used to watch this. So yeah, even though I think it deals with adult themes, it's probably fine. If you want to get your kids into something geeky, I'd say that's a pretty good thing to watch. And, you know, after that it was kind of something completely different. I read the New 52 Suicide Squad run, because I'd got like the holographic cover of Harley and was like, okay, quite a different look, but let's give it a chance. And I don't know, I really liked it. I just felt like it was different. She obviously, there's that kind of thread of her kind of being really attached to Joker, and she does some crazy stuff because of it. Again, I'm going to try and be as vague as possible. And then she kind of has interest in someone else, which I know upset a lot of people, but I liked it. I felt like it was progress, and I feel like just because something happened for a long run, I mean, you gotta think, really, compared to like some of the runs, Harley Quinn's not that old a character. She only came into being in like the 90s cartoons, so saying, oh my god, she has to be with Joker and if she's with anyone else it's wrong, just seems ridiculous. But that's my opinion. I think if you think that, you're entitled to it, and I know there are plenty of comics that you're going to enjoy. I probably just would recommend them to you. So I'm probably not the person to ask, because I like reading into their relationship, but I don't want them to be endgame, because that's just bad for Harley. But yeah, so there was some unpopular choices, I'd say, but I really enjoyed them in the New 52 run, and it's also why I particularly hated the movie adaptation. You know, Suicide Squad to me, and again, I only know that very limited run of it. I know there are older versions that Harley's not even in. But for me, that was all about Harley's kind of emancipation and moving away from him and realising, like, oh my god, you know, I need to go or I'm gonna die. It really was that dire, and there was this moment of, like, oh my god, just pure... I don't know how to say it without spoiling it, but literally it's like she went to extremes to get away from him. Like, the sheer will that it took. And yeah, so that moment was really, like, powerful to me, and I really enjoyed that run, and there was all some sort of crazy stuff. And, you know, the morality issues, like Amanda Waller, oh my god, it's very complicated. And I don't think they showed that as well in the film. In the film it was just, yeah, she's a bitch. I don't like that character, whereas I think it felt more nuanced in the comic. What else? And then obviously, again, because I like cosplaying the character, that made me wanting to get into things like the DC Bombshells. And it took me way longer than it should have done, because it's been around for a while, but obviously when the comic book came out, I got the run and oh my god, I love it. The style obviously is beautiful because it's, you know, based on Aunt Lucia's artwork, and it's all pin-up and beautiful and dramatic and just, oh my god, the artwork's just gorgeous. But the story I thought was really interesting. It's obviously a complete rewrite of history, rewrite of World War II, but they fit in well, it's a coherent story, you have lots of badass women, so I would say it appeals more to women than men, but I think men would appreciate the artwork, and some men do like a strong female lead, but it's not just a strong female lead, it is like 90% women, there's hardly any men in it at all, which is quite funny, but, well, Constantine's in it, and Constantine's great. So yeah, if you love strong women and beautiful artwork, DC Bombshells, highly recommend. And obviously Harley and Ivy are together, spoiler! But it's very obvious from the beginning, so I don't think that's a huge spoiler. What else do I like Harley in? I've got to talk about Harleen. It came out quite recently, and it's kind of like the origin story, but it's really, like, in depth. It's not just, oh, she interviewed him and now they're in love. It really goes into it, and it really shows, like, how she hated him and she was terrified of him. Like, he was so scary, and then he kind of manipulates her and she sees this other side of him, and it's so complicated, and she kind of starts unravelling and unravelling and unravelling, and really, like, there was a point where she needed help and she wasn't getting it. But they also hint at kind of Harley's softer nature. Not a big thing, but there's a whole thing of that she gives Ivy a plant, and obviously she appreciates that and thinks about making her sell more sunlight or something. I vaguely remember, I read it like last year. But yeah, it was just really interesting to see those aspects of Harley's character, and I've always known she has all these different personality traits, but it doesn't always come through, and I think some people should just, she's the Joker's girlfriend, and to me she's always been so much more. It's why I love her. She's always been so much more than the Joker. As much as I love the Joker as a character, like as a character study, he's interesting, but I don't think I like him, you know? And I think that's a very important distinction, because there are characters that you love even though they are the bad guy, and then there are characters you love to hate, and characters that are just interesting and they're just fascinating, and I think Joker's one of them. Like, he's not a good character, and I don't think he has many redeemable characteristics, but equally that depends which version you're reading. which is another interesting thing about comics. It can depend which book you're reading, which author. There's so many different versions of that character. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. I'm focusing on Harley. And yeah, I've just, again, really good book, really interesting, really great character study. And again, the artwork is just beautiful. It's just a really nice book. I love the cover. I love opening it up and just looking at it. It's so pretty. And again, something more recent, I really like the White Knight series. I've read the original White Knight and was like, yes, oh my god, I love this twist. There are certain things that will probably annoy people that know the canon inside and out, because there's like some really obvious things that are different. Like, Dick Grayson is no longer the first Robin, it's Jason and then Dick Grayson. Which is just like, I don't know, it was so jarring. Like, it took me a couple of seconds when I first read it, but in the grand scheme of things, I was like, okay, well, okay, it's fine. Doesn't really matter, but okay. And I can understand why it kind of made sense in the story. But I don't think it was planned. I think it was just genuinely like a mistake, from what I've read anyway. But it was, yeah, it's fine. It's still a really interesting story. It's a really good twist on Batman and Joker, and why Harley is in love with the Joker. Because in it, I'll tell you a little bit. It's kind of, there's the Joker and then there's Jack Napier, and Jack Napier was someone that was obsessed with Batman, and it kind of just drove him crazy. A lot of time he was committing crimes because he just wanted to see the Batman. But actually I think in some ways he wanted better for Gotham. And obviously when he becomes sane, he again is determined to make Gotham a better place. And he proves that perhaps Batman isn't making Gotham a better place. And the sequel kind of dives into that even more, and especially in today's climate when obviously we're talking about policing going too far. I mean, it's different. Gotham is a very specific set of circumstances. I don't think anywhere is the level of Gotham. We don't have, we don't have super criminals running around that you need to worry about. So if even in Gotham they're talking about, well, we need more social services and we need more help for, poor people and mentally ill people and better education and all these things. Like, even in Gotham they're talking about these things. So of course, in the real world, we need these things. But yeah, again, very interesting. It might come across a little bit preachy, me talking about it, but I think in the story it's very natural. That's just me. And obviously Harley, again, is just incredible throughout. I really like this version of Harley. She really kind of has her head screwed on and proves once again that she is smarter than everyone. She really is intelligent, this intelligent, beautiful, amazing person, and she can kick ass. And that's, I think, there are times where I felt like Harley when she was at her weakest and in love with someone that was wrong for her, and there are times where I feel like I'm Harley at her best. I work out, I look after myself, I try to better educate myself about things, I take an interest in the world, I'm interested about learning about things, I'm interested about, I suppose, what makes people tick. So yeah, I'm not Harley, but there are bits I admire, there are bits I want to be like. I think we do have some things in common. And I love her. And, I think in live action, I don't think we've quite got there yet. I love Margot Robbie. I really think she's close. I think she needs the right script. And I think Suicide Squad was awful. Birds of Prey was better. I could feel glimpses. It still wasn't quite what I wanted, but I felt like it was almost there. The new Suicide Squad film will be interesting. again, I don't know if it'll be a version of Harley. I think it will at least look more close to what we're used to seeing with the red and black. I'm excited to see where they go from it anyway. And I think the great thing about Harley is there are so many different versions of her. This doesn't have to match any particular version. It just needs to be vaguely Harley and I'll be happy. But yeah, there are just a few storylines that I'm interested in. A few reasons why I love Harley Quinn, why she's one of my favourite characters, why I like to cosplay her so much. So yeah, this was just me, but I'm hoping to get people on to talk about their favourite characters with me. Maybe people talk about their favourite books. We'll see. We have a few ideas coming. Been talking to a few people, so keep a lookout for that. Thanks everyone. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed me babbling, and think about hitting that subscribe button. Alright, thanks everyone. Bye.